would change, I really couldn't say. In this life there's nothing certain, except the curtain that rises to the stage. Silly games of second guessing, I just forget the lessons that I couldn't learn. Because one street over there's a life I could have known that would have kept me from the one I had today. Time gone by, I've traded like dirt into clay. Thought my memories would hit.
Tickle. Sometimes I'll be out in town. Everybody's like, "We sit there watch you talking, and we wonder what you're talking about before you turn the microphones on and all that kind of stuff." And it's King Gamble's in the house, y'all. Yay!
Good morning. Good morning.
We had to get you in here because I'm going to be off next week because it's spring break in Robertson County schools, and I'm super excited about that. I'm so ready for a break. I'm really in need of it right now. I need to kind of get my bearings, you know. But I was telling him, I said, I have tinnitus, and they say that not using caffeine helps tinnitus, and I have seen that it does. And so I really try to stay away from caffeine as much as possible, but every now and then I just think, okay, it's a day I need some caffeine. And I drank a cup of coffee this morning. Hadn't had one in a while that had caffeine in it, so man, I'm just ain't no telling what'll come out of my mouth. I'm wound up, you know.
Well,
So anyway.
let me ask you, where did you hear this caffeine was detrimental to tinnitus?
I've heard it several times.
I've had tinnitus.
Yeah, well, I'm sure a lot of military does. My kid that served in Afghanistan, Jedediah, came back with terrible tinnitus because he shot the big guns, you know.
Well, if it meant giving up coffee, then I'll just have to have tinnitus.
Well, I had heard that. My friend Dean Hart told me that. She had it and she gave up caffeine. And I think that's who told me it originally was my friend up in Kentucky. And then I went and actually had a hearing test, and they confirmed that. They said also, too, if you'll take magnesium, it helps, and stay off caffeine. So I do both of those things, and I've seen it does seem to help. It does seem to help.
Well, they gave me a little gadget. They gave me some hearing aids.
Yeah.
Not because I can't hear,
Yeah.
but because of the tinnitus.
Sure, yeah.
And I've got this little thing here, and I just punch it. When the tinnitus comes in, I punch it, and all I hear is the ocean. Mm-hmm. And it soothes down the tinnitus, supposedly. Mm-hmm. But it just goes from one sound to the other. So,
Right.
I mean, it's not a big deal.
Well, and that's one thing, too. When I will use rainfall and things like that whenever I'm trying to sleep because the tinnitus will keep me up.
Right.
And so I've gotten to where I'll do that. And so they wanted to fit me. And I may go in and let them, do hearing aids or something like that for that reason. Because I'm a little hard of hearing, too.
Well,
Because I can't hear my kids across the room. I'm like, I'm an old woman. Speak up, kiddos.
They've got them now, LaVern, where you can't tell that you got hearing aids.
Oh, I know. They're so tiny.
Yeah, and you can get the ones that go in your ear.
Yeah.
And you have nothing. Of course, I've got the ones that go in your ear and then they come around. But
Okay. I was going to say, you don't have them in now, do you?
No,
I was gonna
no,
say, if you've
no.
got them in now, I can't tell it.
all I hear is just crickets. But
Yeah.
I'm lip reading you.
Well, I'll tell you, and that's something. Tinnitus, a lot of people have it, and and mine, I attribute to many years of headphones turned up too loud.
Exactly.
Yep, and because I've spent so many years with these things on my head, because I started in radio in 1980, and so I'll tell my kiddos at school. I'm a full-time school teacher. If you don't know, if you're new to the program, and I retired into teaching. I just love that. But my kiddos, my teenagers, I tell them to turn it down because I said your ears are gonna ring just like mine if you don't.
Yes.
And I said, when you're 60 years old and you're remembering old Miss Vivio and your ears are ringing, you'll be like, yeah, that old woman tried to tell me and I didn't listen. I said, I'll be dead and gone, but you'll remember me. And they're like, that's so morbid, Miss Vivio. And I'm like, you live a lot of fun. When you get older, you're like, that's all good, man. I've been living good. I'm just, the seasons are the seasons, and it's just all good. It's all good.
You
It's all
speak,
beautiful.
speaking about old, I'm not talking about old.
Oh, it's good. It's sure better than the alternative. I want to live as long as the good Lord will let me, because I just want to be able to share things with my grandkids and my kids. I just regret so much not writing down some of the things my daddy was trying to tell me, and my mama. We've got some things, and my precious dad, he wrote some things down. We can't read your handwriting, Daddy. I mean, but anyway, it's all good. But I have things I want to share, not just with them, but with the world.
Well, wisdom comes
so
with age.
true that. I think about that all the time, Kent, how that, man, oh man, Bill Jones and I have this conversation a lot, how we just wish we'd gotten on fire for some of the things we're on fire for 50 years ago.
Yeah, exactly.
Man,
Exactly.
and it's just like, it's all good.
Well, I
But,
sit back and I listen to some of the stories that my daddy used to tell
Yeah.
me, and I'd say, you're lying. You're not telling the truth. But at his funeral, there were some people sitting there at the funeral,
uh-huh.
and I'm sitting there on the front row, and I'm listening to these conversations, and they're talking about this. Daddy always told me he got a big old bass out of Carl's Creek that fed his family for a week.
Oh my.
And I'm thinking, you're lying? But these guys back there in the back row, hey, you remember when Petey got that big old, him and Henry got that big old bass? They whipped it with willow branches.
Harris Creek, guys. And it's so funny that you say that. And I'm going to see if I can find this picture real quick. There was a kiddo that was fishing on our creek. We live on Cars Creek. We are just so blessed. God has blessed us with this beautiful piece of property. And if you want to come fishing, just let me know, because I'm not a fisherman. But people, come fishing up there by us. And we just love that. We love being able to share our home with others. And but we had this kiddo come fishing, and it's real sweet. He was one of the kiddos that was here on mission from the Mormon church, and we just had some friends that we were like, well, the kids can come out and they can hang out here, because they had a little bit of time off, and the little kids on the bikes, and I don't know if I can find it, but bless him, he came out. When he discovered he could fish our creek when he was off, he would come out and fish. He pulled one of the biggest. Oh, there it is. He pulled a big old bass out of the creek, and look at that thing. That's out in front of my house.
Yeah, they're in there.
Isn't
They're
that
in
something?
there.
I wish I could. I'll try to put this up in comments. I don't know if y'all can see this. I'll hold it up to the camera. Look at that fish that came out of Cars Creek. If you want to, I don't know if y'all can see that or not. That was right in front of my house, man. That is a big old bass. My grandson actually caught a bass out there. It wasn't nearly that large, but a big one. And I've had friends of mine say, "Oh, I've caught record breakers out there."
Oh, yeah.
And and I was talking to Caleb Stratton, our district sergeant for wildlife resources. He'll be proud of me. I got his title right, but he was in on Monday, and they were talking about releasing the trout up around the fairgrounds.
Yeah.
And how that you might even get some trout out of there.
Oh,
and
you
so because while it's cool. I mean, if you live in Robertson County, you are blessed. And we got to get on topic here. It's already 10 after, Ken. We haven't seen each other in a while. We got to visit. But Lee Marie, I guarantee you, she's going, LaVern, get back to what you need to talk to Ken about. She'll get me. But she's so good. And she's actually called you for me, because she said, hey, we got to get Ken on your show. May make sure that we get a chance to talk about the Vietnam Vets celebration that we have, because Vietnam Vets Day is coming up. It's March 29th. It's on a Saturday this year, which is wonderful. The only downside, I'm the assistant track coach now. We got a track meet that day, so I can't be there, but I will be there for the candlelight visual on the 28th at 6 p.m. I will absolutely be there.
Great.
And if for some reason, if we get done early, I'll come by.
Yeah.
I just don't know. You just never know with track meets how long they're going to go. We were at one on Saturday that went from, we got there at 8:30 and left at 7 p.m. So anyway, go ahead.
These young people, you've got to do what you got to do with these young people.
Yes, they're so
because they're the
precious.
ones that's going to be carrying the torch
You
in
better believe it.
the future.
Yep. Yep.
I've got a big surprise when we do this celebration on the 29th.
Oh.
People are gonna they're going to think I'm crazy. But that's
Okay.
okay. I've been
Alright.
crazy a lot of
Is it a
years.
surprise you're going to reveal there, or are you going to tell
Yeah,
us?
yeah.
Okay.
It will be a great surprise. I
So,
think everybody will enjoy it.
are you going to tell me whenever it's not on microphone so I can know?
Yes,
You'll
I'll
give me,
tell
okay,
you
you tell me later.
afterwards.
You tell me later. But I'll have to call you because now we've got Brian coming. We've got Brian Pulley coming in here at 7:30. So we don't have a whole hour. So I want to make sure we get to everything. Let me just hold that up there a little bit. But this, guys, is going to be really cool because I normally they honor me and ask me to be host for this thing, and this is the first year I think that I'm not able to do it. But I'm kind of glad I can't because now Brian Wilson's doing it.
Yeah, well, Brian's going to do it.
I'm so proud. I'm just so proud they thought to ask him because I love that guy. He is just a dear friend. Him and his wife Dawn, and they have family that served. And Dawn has a real rich military background in her family, is my understanding, and that's his bride. And sweet people. And he is retired now after 50 years in broadcasting, and so now you get to see him at places like this. Go ahead.
But he does fill in from time to time on
Oh, sure.
99.7.
Yes.
I heard him the other day. He was
Right.
filling in.
Yeah, and I think it's like this, you just can't get it out of your blood.
Oh, no,
The fact
no.
that you just want to keep your toe in radio water if you've ever been in it because it's just fun. It's just a fun thing to do, and I'll do it as long as the good Lord lets me, as long as I have a voice to speak. So, but anyway, so I'm real excited that Brian's going to be there because it's like I was telling Ken before we came on the air. I've told my stories about the connections we have to Vietnam. And if you've never heard it, we had a hired hand named Kenneth Pease that he was there when I was born. Huh? Are there two sons?
Uh-huh.
Okay. But he was there when I was born. And so I always had Kenneth around. And so when he got drafted and went off to Vietnam, I was so proud of him. And so, I mean, he felt like an older brother, really. Because he was just always there, and I was so proud of him, a soldier. And I remember him coming and telling us, and it seemed like he'd been gone just a minute, and we got the call. I was like, I can't. Oof. Anyway, still gets me.
Well, I know every year for the last 5 years, I've seen you tear up when you tell your story, and it is a great story. This year, we're going to have someone that she is a South Vietnamese lady.
Yeah.
And her story, she wrote a book called Ground Kisser.
Yeah.
And
I've heard her speak. Ooh,
she is a powerhouse.
Powerful.
Very.
Yes.
And what people don't understand is what the South Vietnamese people think of the American soldier that was there. It's altogether a different story than we lost the war.
Yeah.
It's a great. Her story is just fantastic, and she doesn't have to do this, but she is such a giving woman that she does it, and it's just she's amazing. Yeah. That's all I can say about her.
Powerful story, and I've heard her speak. It's excellent, and you're gonna want to be there to hear.
Yeah, I think if people will hear her and take it to heart what she has to say, and it is all factual, it's true. They'll come away from that celebration with a different vision of what.
For sure.
Yeah, what Vietnamese people think of American soldiers.
Yeah, absolutely. But this is something, and I'm so grateful it's on a Saturday because people can get there so often. And I know we're busy with our work and stuff, and I'm so blessed because the last 2 years since I've been teaching, I've asked my principal, Dr. Osborne, I said, this is something that I'm a part of, and I'd like to, I need to take off. And she's like, absolutely, because it's just like when I step away from the classroom to do this, or when I step away from the classroom to go to the recovery court graduation, the kids are like, well, where are you going, Miss Vivio? And it gives me an open door to tell them about this. And so I'm so thankful that I'm in a position now to where I can, during the work day, I can take the time and go and do this. We even took some kiddos one year. They were a little bit restless, but you know what? Even though I would have liked for them to have been it was at one point they were just kind of all sitting off, kind of in the cemetery, kind of just sitting in a group, and they weren't paying attention to the ceremony. They have the attention span of teenagers, but they've never forgotten it, and it made an impression on them. So while we as adults were going, you kids need to be sitting in these seats and paying attention, they got it.
Well,
you know what I mean? They got it.
Their attention span. They're not like I was when I was in school.
Yeah.
I would be thinking of one thing. Now these kids can be thinking, they multitask. They can be thinking of three things at the same time.
Well, and they even asked, they said, are we going to go? Because this is the ones I brought were my kids that are in my homeroom. Right. And the reason why is because I've talked to them so much about Vietnam and my experiences with, knowing Kenneth. And I've told them the story of Donna Hagen's brother, Terry Smith. And I've just told them, about the letters books. I can't remember the exact
77
title.
letters.
77 letters. And I have a copy of that, and I've shared some excerpts with them. And so I brought them because of that, my homeroom kids. And then I also brought some of my audio video kids just so they would have the opportunity to, because they were going to do some pictures and things like that and some video. But they've never forgotten it. And so they were disappointed this year that it was on Saturday. And I said, y'all can go, but I said, we can't do a field trip kind of situation. This is my last year with those kids.
Oh,
They're
really?
They're graduating.
They're graduating?
Oh, and I'm going to miss them like crazy. I just can't. They've been with me from the very start because they were sophomores when I came in to teach, and they're my kids. And I've had many teachers tell me, say, yeah, that first group that you kind of grow up with, as you come in and you become a teacher with, you just don't forget them. And I will never forget these kids.
No, you won't, because I've got my English teacher. I never forgot her.
Yeah.
When I come in on leave, I went to see her.
Oh, that's cool.
And that's Miss Johnson. I don't know whether there's a lot of people out there that remember Miss Johnson, I'm sure.
Oh, I bet. Where did you go to school?
Greenbrier.
Oh, you. How did I not know that?
I graduated from Greenbrier.
I did not know
The assistant principal asked me one time, says, where did you graduate from? I said, here. He says,
I didn't know that.
He says, what year did you graduate? And I said, in 62. He says, oh, my God, I'll have to go back in the archives to find you.
Oh, my gosh. You know what year I was born?
No, I'm not going to ask.
1962.
It really?
Yeah.
That's the year.
You graduated the year I was born. I didn't realize you were, that many years older than me.
That's the year I went into the Navy.
Wow.
I went right straight from high school to the Navy. And
wow.
Speaking of this book right here, now this is something that you can take to the kids, and you can read some inserts out of there, because that book goes from day one in 1964 when it went from police action to a conflict.
Okay.
And it comes right on up to 1973 when we evacuated.
Okay.
But it goes on to 75 when we were getting as many of the South Vietnamese out of Vietnam, along with the ambassador and closing the ambassadorships down and everything and getting them out of there. That book goes to interviews with individuals that fought every battle that we fought in Vietnam. Mm. So you can look at that book, and you can tell your class, this is what happened.
Wow.
This is what happened on the hills. This is what happened in the mountains. This is what happened on the rivers. This, and blah, blah, blah. And it's factual. I've read it. And this book was put out not by a author, but by the state of Massachusetts.
Wow. And
it is an excellent book. Every library in Robertson County ought to have this book, and I'm willing to put it in every.
If you want one, let Ken know.
If the school board will let me, I will be more than happy to supply a book for the libraries.
Well, I'll find out. I'll take this to our librarian today and talk to him about it. And I've got an idea. Okay, I'm gonna get my own copy of it.
Okay.
And I want to take and send it. I'll bring it Friday to the memorial. But it just hit me. I want a copy of this because Vietnam means it's just so important to me.
Well, and I'll hook you up.
No, I'll get mine. But I'm going to start having all the Vietnam vets I meet sign it every opportunity I
That
have.
would be fantastic.
That's what I'm going to do with mine. But I'm going to get me a copy of this, and I'm going to have all the Vietnam vets I know
Now,
that I meet sign it.
What people don't understand in
Yeah.
the back of this book, there's
Oh,
a DVD.
there's a DVD. Oh
Now,
my gosh!
I have not watched the DVD yet,
Mhm.
but I think it's
Yeah,
I think it's probably just the book, and
yeah.
to where lazy people don't have to read; they can just
Well,
listen.
I'm telling you, thank you for introducing me to this, and this is amazing. And I'm going to get my own copy, but I will take this one to the library,
Okay.
and I'll get my own copy, and then I'll bring it as long as I can get my hands on it here, because I mean we've got 2 weeks from tomorrow is when all
Yes.
this happens.
Yeah.
So I'll bring my copy on the 28th and have any Vietnam vet there sign it, and then maybe even leave it with Lee Marie to have people sign it on Saturday.
Okay.
And like I said, if for some chance, I can't remember which meet it is that we have on that Saturday. If it turns out to be one of our, shorter ones, then maybe I can get over there before it's over. But
Well, it's we advertising it as from 12 to 1. That's only an hour.
yeah, but it goes longer a lot of times.
It's got to go longer
yeah.
because our lineup is longer.
Sure,
mean,
sure, yeah.
It'll be from 12 until we're through.
There you go.
but
And
but that's why we broke it up the 28th,
Yes.
having the candlelit vigil,
yes.
because that takes a lot of time reading
Yes, it
all the
does.
names, honoring all the vets that's on
Yeah.
that memorial.
Yes.
And that's a picture of the memorial.
The
And-
big picture behind the book here that I'm showing.
There will be more names on that memorial. I've got two more cenotaphs coming to be mounted
Yeah.
before the 29th, hopefully.
Well, and this is something I've talked about having, we've got several in our family that are veterans. This is for the veterans that made it home, but they came home just in a time of just absolute incredible persecution. When you talk to any Vietnam vet, what they endured when they got home is just unbelievable. It's why I just detest hippies.
Well-
I can't, and I don't mean that. I shouldn't say that. I'm a Christian, love and love everybody, but I just have a disdain for the hippie movement in the era and all of that because of what I remember as a child. Because I clearly remember
But you,
after losing Kenneth, how I would hear them on television and I would just be angry. I thought, how dare you say such a thing whenever Kenneth lost his, gave his life for this,
yeah, but
and just be infuriated. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
well, God tells us to forgive.
Yes, absolutely.
And all these
Absolutely.
people that were out there throwing beer cans at us, spitting on us, cussing us, they're the ones coming up to us now saying, thank you for your service.
And I'm so sorry. Are
Yeah,
they? Are
and
you
I'm so
hearing that?
sorry.
Some God bless. That's wonderful. Thank you for sharing that with me.
We're hearing it more than you think.
That's amazing. I guess the persona of hippie just kind of, I just very much shy away from it. The whole, what's the big concert they had? Woodstock, all of that. I just don't care for any of that.
No,
I don't want to even see it. Well, for one thing too, Woodstock, if you know some of the stories and things and the concert that happened after that with this, that whole era, it was dark. It was dark. It was such a dark time. And
But if you
there's-
listen to that
yeah.
era, if you listen, every song that was written was about the war.
yeah,
I mean,
American Pie.
yeah, all of it. All of it
All of it, man.
was
a lot
about
of Creedence
that war.
Clearwater stuff, man. It's just like all of it. Yeah.
I loved it all.
Yeah, me
Well,
too.
getting back-
Anyway, we're getting off track. Lee Marie's going to stay on topic.
Okay. As far as the medals,
Okay.
I don't know whether people know what we're doing or not, but
The Orange Heart Medal, that's correct.
the Orange Heart Medal, we came up with the design on it. I had it produced. I had it made. And we're about 90 medals from hitting the 15,000 mark.
Wow.
And I tell you, and this year we have already done the fourth phase, and it's supposed to be here, but we still got a couple of cenotaphs to do on the third phase. But I wanted to go ahead and have something unusual for the fourth phase. So what we have done, and I'll go ahead and put it out there, we have 3 pillows. Pedestals, I should say.
Pedestals, okay.
pedestals. One with 60 names of the POWs,
Oh,
one of 60 names of the MIAs,
wow.
and one of 60 names of the women that served in Vietnam. And these 60 names represent all of them.
Mm.
Okay.
Where are you getting the names?
Okay. The names, we have a lady here in Springfield that served.
Mm-hmm.
When they came back, they had a reunion.
Mm-hmm.
And she furnished me with all 60 of those names.
Oh, that's cool.
And she's right here from Springfield.
That's cool.
And she didn't want, I mean, she was very adamant.
Mm-hmm.
She just thought, she didn't know what we were.
Yeah.
And she thought we was trying to solicit the names for something,
Yeah.
you know. And
Fundraise. We're going to raise
Yeah.
money and all
Yeah.
this kind of stuff. Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Since then, she knows what we're doing,
Yeah,
and
what
she
the
was
point is,
very, very gracious to us.
Awesome.
The POWs, we got that list from off the internet of the POWs that
Right.
served. Of course, you know, there was 600 and something of them, but we only
Yeah.
had room for 60
Yeah,
names.
it's representative.
Yeah, it's representative.
And I thought maybe is it possibly, some Robertson Countyans or anything like that?
There may be some on
POWs?
there.
Yeah.
There may be. I have no idea. I just took the 60 names,
Sure.
sent them in, and had the cenotaphs made.
Uh-huh. How cool.
Whether or not they're on there or not, because they're random.
Mm.
They're just
Oh,
randomly
yeah.
picked.
It's just a
And
MIAs then.
right.
Wow.
and of course, I didn't ask for permission
Mm-hmm.
because they're my brothers and sisters.
Mm-hmm.
I just went ahead and did it. Maybe I'll get some repercussions from it.
No,
I don't know.
think so. I think anybody that finds their loved one on that's going to be honored.
Yeah, I think so.
I think so for sure. For sure.
Well, we've done a lot. Of course, we have lost this past year. We've lost several
Yeah.
of our VFW members
Mhm.
and what have you to Agent Orange.
Mm-hmm.
I just recently last month lost my most aggressive board member
Mm.
from Agent Orange. And as of right now, we have got our Tennessee law that Sabi Kumar came to me and asked me what I wanted to do about this law, if I wanted to make it a resolution or a law.
Mm.
And I said, let's go for a law. And we did, and it passed. And that law recognizes us as being internally wounded
Mhm.
while in service of our country,
Mhm.
something that our federal government will not do. Okay? So Bobby was going state to state
Wow.
on his own nickel. Now, he went to South Dakota, he went to Nevada, he went to Massachusetts, he went to Pennsylvania. And he got these states. We've got 14 states now that has put that law in their state.
Mm-hmm.
I'm hoping with this new administration that we can just quit going state to state and get this thing federally approved.
Maybe.
I know that Susan Hunter, one of my board members, has been talking to Marsha Blackburn,
Oh, good.
and
Okay.
maybe Marsha will take the reins and do something
That'd
with
be
it.
great. That'd be great. And I mean, it's such a people just don't realize how many people come back from war injured. And one of the most, I've not seen this memorial. I guess maybe I looked it up online one time, but my friend Donna Hagan, her brother Terry, gave his life in Vietnam. Absolute bona fide hero. If you don't know his story, we share it every Memorial Day. But she was telling about how disappointed her brother would have been for the way his brothers and sisters were treated, and how heartbroken he would have been, and how he would have been so happy to see the recognition and the honor being restored to that. And said that there was you've got the Vietnam Wall, and I've seen people will send me etchings where they found my friend's name on there. I've got several of Kenneth's name on there, and then there's Terry Smith's name and different ones that I knew. But there's a memorial, and I can't remember where it is. Donna mentioned that for the ones that came home injured, and it's a state or a city did it to honor their local people, and it's of a Vietnam soldier walking into the wall.
Yes, I've seen that. But
That gets me, man. I'm like, wow.
See, what people don't understand, you look at me, I look normal.
Yeah.
I'm not the prettiest thing in the world, but I do look
No.
normal. See, they don't know about these internal injuries.
That's right. Mm-hmm.
Now, the injuries where you get a Purple Heart, you're going to lose an arm or leg or something of that
Yeah,
nature.
yeah.
You're going to see it. Agent Orange, you don't see it.
Right.
And Agent Orange, you suffer with it from the day you get home until you pass away.
And it affects your DNA, y'all.
Oh, absolutely.
the
It changes.
kiddos.
It changes your DNA,
Even the kiddos.
and it is handed down now
Mm-hmm.
that they've figured out so far. It's handed down to the 5th generation,
Mm.
and these are the guys that's going to have to take the torch when all of us old ones are gone, and we're
Mhm.
dying at 547 a day. So it's not going to be long. Time's not on our side.
Mm-mm.
That's the reason we are doing this celebration each year, and that's the reason that we're sending these medals out. And people, just like LaVern said, I get emails all the time from people that have received this medal. You do not realize how powerful this medal is to them.
Mm-hmm.
This is something that, like I said, the federal government doesn't recognize,
Mm-hmm.
but it's something that we as Vietnam vets all know. And I'm not saying anything detrimental about anybody or anything, but it is a way for them to be recognized and honored
Mm-hmm.
for something that happened in Vietnam.
Amen.
And I should have started 5 years ago keeping all these emails, because I could write one heck of a book.
I bet you could.
I mean, it is just fascinating. It is just unreal.
Well, and I'll tell you, we're out of time today, but I might be able to get you in the week of the event too, because now I will be on the air that week. So I'll see if we can't get you back in.
Just
I'll have
give
to
me a
look at
holler.
my schedule and see if we can make that happen. But Ken Gamble's here, and he is the founder of the Orange Heart Medal Foundation, which has become this beautiful memorial right there at Springfield Memorial Gardens. The event, the candlelight visual, will be on Friday night there at the memorial. It's going to be 6 p.m. Right? Is that what's for the memorial on Friday night?
Yes.
Kiddos from Robertson County School are going to read the names. We're going to have just a wonderful ceremony, and then on the day, 12 to 1. Brian Wilson of 99.7, you know him. He's going to be there to MC the event. So, and just all the wonderful things that Ken has unpacked. And we'll try to get him back in here and unpack this again the week of. So
I'm going to try and get one of the SGUs to read the names of that's on that memorial.
okay.
The SGUs was a secret guerrilla unit
Wow.
that was in Vietnam. They were Laotians,
Mm-hmm.
but they were our allies.
Right.
And I have met these 14 guys that are here in Tennessee.
Oh, wow.
And I've even pinned the medal on 4 of them at the memorial.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to try, because there's no way I can pronounce their names. So I know that
Get them there to do it. That's great. I love that.
if I can get one of them up there to read those 14 names
That'd
off.
be great. That's funny.
I'm going to get out of here.
All
Get
right,
out of
buddy.
your hair.
Thank you. Oh, Ma, you're always a blessing. Always a blessing. Thank you for the book, and I'm going to look forward to presenting that at the library today. But
I've got another copy out here in the truck. I'll bring it to you so you can have a personal copy.
well, you're very kind, Ken. Thank you so much.
And everybody, come on out, because we're just going to be there. We're going to have, in our VFW, we'll have their hot dogs.
The VFW, that's one thing I forgot to mention, the VFW hot dogs. Come on. It's awesome. And thank you, brother. It's good to see you. Send Brian on in, and we'll talk about all the United Way stuff that we need to catch up on. But while everybody's making the switch, let's talk about Barry and Rebecca Richards with Exit Prime Realty. If you missed the show, last Wednesday they came in. Barry and Rebecca, I try to have them in every few months just to, kind of go over all the things going on in their world, because they're so busy, whether it be buying or selling. If you've got property to sell, if you want to buy property, they're the ones to talk to because they are so plugged in. They've been at this a long time. Rebecca, one of the first in the area to be a seniors real estate specialist. And that means that if you're somebody that you're just like, I want to downsize, my kids have moved away, I don't know what to do with my land or my home, I want something smaller, she can help you understand all the nuances, all the things you need to know when it comes to, having that influx of, I forget how they, there's like financial words, I forget about how that you've got to make sure you put money in the right place and all that as you're doing that, if you reinvest it or whatever, but she can talk to you about all that. Barry, he came out of the background of marketing. He was vice president of a media marketing company for nearly 17 years. A marketer on your team when you're trying to sell property, it is priceless. He has a brokerage office now here in Springfield. She has her agency office out in White House. They have a new branch in the Exit Tree since about a year and a half ago. It's Exit Prime Realty, and very easy to contact, guys. You can go to them at sellwithbecky.com, sellwithbecky.com, or buy, B-U-Y, robertsoncounty.com, and get in touch with them there. Or you can give them a call, 615-504-7425 or 615-504-7424. Get in touch with them today, and whether it be something here, and thank you, Ken. It be in Robertson County. They've specialized in Robertson County properties because they are here in Robertson County. They're cross-Plainians, have been for nearly 30 years, but they've got so much experience in outlying areas and around. They've just been all over. So they also handle properties in the surrounding areas and even across the state line in Kentucky, because like me, they are Kentuckians originally. But anyway, whatever your needs are in the real estate community, maybe you want to be a realtor. They would love to mentor you into the real estate community. Barry and Rebecca Richards, Exit Prime Realty, sellwithbecky.com, buy, B-U-I, robertsoncounty.com. And when you talk to them, please always let them know that U-Turn sent you. And oh my goodness, Brian Pulley, it feels like it's been forever.
Good morning. Good morning.
How you been?
I was just out 1 week. Last week we had I know. We had a one of our days of action last week throughout. It's for our literacy initiative. It's called United We Read. A really cool little deal we got to do. Right now it was something we used to do prior to COVID. It was a bigger deal when we went into all the schools, and it was a really big thing. Of course, COVID comes along and we can't go into schools anymore. So it kind of put a pause on it for a couple of years. And then we brought it back slowly in different formats. And I think this is going to be the way we maybe do it going forward. But we had an opportunity for some of our corporate partners to donate supplies and reading materials for a lot of the daycare centers and family resource centers and things like that we work with, particularly in underserved communities that may be short on those materials. And then we have volunteers come in for a day and read to the kids. It kind of coincides with Reading Across America that the schools do, so it's all the literacy focus. But we did it in 3 counties of our 9 this year, and it was 3 of our bigger counties, which was Davidson, Williamson, and Montgomery, and then we're hoping to expand it to new counties every year. So I think Robertson, hopefully next year, we'll be able to do it here. It just takes a lot of volunteers to do it because we're doing several centers on the same day. I had the opportunity to go to Clarksville and do one and read at their center with some kids. You want to talk about like a great way to start your day is go in to read to a classroom full of 3-year-olds, especially. The amount of just like positive energy and hugs and just laughter and all the stuff, like it's impossible to be in a bad mood if after that. So if anybody, I know that a lot of folks around here, because I had some family members that do it. If you want to volunteer to read the schools for Read Across America, I know they do that week as well. But hopefully we're going to expand this to some of the facilities here that may need a little love and need some help to kind of stock their libraries. And we got things like wipes and just things that they need that they may be a little short on that we can help with. So it was good and great opportunity for volunteers. And then, of course, the focus was on literacy and the importance of reading, which then coincides with our program, which Imagination Library, which has been running forever, and our partnership with Dolly Parton, where the kids 0 to 5 get free books.
That's the coolest program.
It's the best thing ever.
I love Dolly Parton.
Both of my kids got it. We signed up for it. They both have stocked libraries in their house, in our house, in their rooms because of this. And I hope they developed a love of reading early and enjoy reading early, and the importance of it because I was never great at math in school. That was never my thing, but I was a good reader and a good reading comprehension. And I think that's my opinion. It's the foundation for what we do to survive in life is to, you may not have to use math in your work life when you get to be an adult, but I've not found a job that you didn't have to be able to read and comprehend what you're reading. Yeah. And if you can do it in a short amount of time, even better, quickly, especially the digital world we live in now where emails and files and all the stuff that we're reading on a daily basis. If you're able to take that content, read it, process it, figure out, understand it, and then be able to apply it to your job, I think it's a valuable skill. I think it starts with reading. So at an early age, I read the sports page and Sports Illustrated. So I was a big sports guy, and that's kind of how I developed my love of reading. I wasn't a huge book reader as a kid, but I read the sports page every day, pretty much front to back. And then Sports Illustrated came once a week, and they used to have these great long-form articles in the back and big words and all that. But I loved reading it, and I think it developed a love of reading for me. And it also gave me that skill, which I've used in my life. So it's very important. Something that we focus on. It's one of our pillars. Education and literacy is a huge part of that. So good project. Hopefully we'll have it here this year. Next year we'll have it here in Robertson County and be able to expand it even further. And I'm going to push for that. But it's a really cool deal.
That's cool. Yeah, that's cool. And I agree with you. The literacy push that we have. I have so many kids still, the age that they are in my class, that they don't like to read. And I think what Dolly Parton's done and just being able to get books in these kids' hands, because it's a lot of times finding the content you want to read. Because I was one of these people, I didn't like reading in high school because they had us reading stuff I wasn't interested in. And then when I got older, I loved science fiction. And so once I discovered science fiction and started reading that, then that pulled me in. And then I kept finding other things. Well, I like reading historical fiction and all these. You got to find your genre that you want to read. I do a lot of study books, and I listen to them more audibly because I can comprehend them better that way. But I can read a novel easily. So you got to figure out
what works for you.
And the only way you do that is when you're exposed to a lot of different materials. That's what I love about Dolly Parton's. If you've looked at the books,
I've read every one of them. It is very diverse, and different styles. And some of them are not my favorites because of the way they're written. As far as they're difficult to read. Like at night, you're trying to get the kids to sleep. Basically, and it's like it's a lot of words here, but
shorter.
Give me short stuff right now. But it's really good. Like what you said, it's very diverse. She did something cool too. I thought during for those who have kids, I'm sure you remember during that time. But during COVID, she was putting up videos and she was reading those books to kids and you could get on YouTube and she would read to those books. That Dolly would, and that's a good memory I have from that time is because my son Henry he would have been about 2 at that time, 2 or 3, and we would let Dolly read to him at night, and then I would read a book to him. He loved it. He looked forward to it. Cool. And then she would read a book that he had because he was getting the same library. He thought that was cool. So anyway, it's just an amazing program. We're very thankful to be a partner with it. There's a lot of people that make that happen. We have a person on our staff who lives here in Robertson County, Brooke, that does an amazing job with that program, but then it takes a lot of volunteers and a lot of money. Dolly's a huge part of it, yes, but it's a big machine to get all that, really to get all those books out, and it takes a lot of partners that are spending their time and money to do that, and then Brooke does an amazing job getting the awareness out for it. She does a lot of reading events in the area, and it's just a really cool program, but again, I think it's done a lot to build that foundation for reading. And
I think it makes a difference too.
Kids having a book with their name on it too, like is a big deal. Like I know for mine, when they would get it and it has their name on it when they mail it to them, it's theirs, it's their book, and it's different when it's their book. And so, but it's just both of my kids, thank God, had a foundation. I think a good foundation of reading. I do think it started there. So
I think it's cool. That's cool. That's cool. Yeah. And I was just teasing you. It just it seems like I haven't seen you in a while. I mean, this has been last couple of weeks have been so busy.
I work too much.
I have been
in
this
work stuff.
I know, man.
Yeah.
I love it though, and we're all getting ready for spring break, and we got spring break fever. And everybody's like, "What are you going to do, LaVern?" I'm like, "I'm probably going to do a lot of work around my house that I've been putting off because I'm not having a knee replacement or anything like that.
Yeah.
My last break since June, it seems
Yeah.
like I've had something to do with my joint replacements, and I don't have anything scheduled. So
There you go.
Yay.
Take advantage of it.
I'm looking forward to not having.
You're gonna be like the bionic woman.
Oh, I already am,
your
man.
pieces.
It's
Yeah.
awesome. It's awesome. It's amazing what they can do medically now. It's fabulous. But I know something we really need to touch on before we forget
Yes.
or run out of time. Let me tease something real quick.
Okay.
Tomorrow, we've got St. Patrick's Day, of course, coming up on Monday. I'm not going to be here, but we got Jack Martin coming in tomorrow at 7:30 to wish an Iris blessing on you for Faith Friday, of course. He is a pastor up at Green Ridge Church, and again, a full-blown Irishman that came here, immigrated with his family because of the troubles that were happening in Ireland. Just a fascinating man if you never met him. So he'll be here at 7:30, but guess who's coming at 7?
Who's that?
My brother-in-law and sister-in-law, they're in town from the Upper Peninsula of Michigan, David and Sue Vivio. And I can't wait for y'all to meet this guy. He's so funny. And so I was like, I talk about my family from my Uper family. One of them's going to be on there with me tomorrow for a few minutes. And so it'll be fun. And there's a couple of stories I'll tell you about him when he's in here, but you'll get a kick out of me.
You may have to put some subtitles on the bottom for our your southern listeners to be able to understand what.
He's got quite an accent. He's funny.
Their accent is different. I've worked with
yeah.
a lady, my OVC days, and she was from that region, and she had some words and some expressions. Stuff like, I don't know. I thought our stuff was bad. I don't know what you're talking about right now.
My father-in-law, when we were building our house, putting it together, whatever, and David came down and did the piping, the pipes in it, because he's a union pipe fitter from the Upper Peninsula. But their dad, Clarence, also came down, my father-in-law, to help with the house. And at one point, him and Mark, my husband, were going through Taco Bell or something to get some lunch. They couldn't understand Clarence.
It's different.
Couldn't understand. Can you pull around, sir? We can't understand what you're saying.
You know, it's funny about that too. Southern people always get bagged on for having the thickest accents, right? But there's other pockets of this country to where if you're not from there, you have no idea. And it's just as weird or whatever you want to call it as our accent is. But we're always the one that's kind of gets made fun of. It's funny to me. It's like you have one too. It's just different than ours. So
I got to tune in to meet David and Sue tomorrow morning. But we've got to talk about VITA.
Oh, great timing.
Yep.
And I know everybody is so excited to get your taxes done. I am procrastinating this year myself. I need to get mine done.
I do an extension. I know. I'm the worst. Yeah.
It's okay. It's okay. They're going to be all right. But we have 2 sites here in Robertson County, and one this Saturday is going to be open, and walk-ins are welcome. It's going to be at the Stokes Brown Library from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. Again, that's this Saturday, 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. at the Stokes Brown Public Library. We'll have walk-ins welcome. Take advantage of that. $76,000 household income or less. We will have a qualified, licensed tax preparer that will do your taxes completely free. He's like, well, what's the catch? There is no catch. If you qualify for that income-wise, come in, bring your stuff, have your ID, have all your forms, get your paperwork together, and come in, and you will leave refreshed, happy, your taxes are done, and they will maximize your refund. That is what their job is to do, particularly single parents out there with children, you've had some issues with your taxes, please bring it in. This is what they live to do. They want to help you. This Saturday, March 15th, 9 to 1, Stokes Brown Public Library, and then March 24th at the Robertson County YMCA from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. We will have another site open, and walk-ins are welcome as well. March 24th, 9 to 1 at the YMCA here in Springfield. So awesome. 2 opportunities coming up. Please take advantage of it. If you can't do those, and you're like, well, I'm a virtual person, I can do it virtually, there is that option as well. You can visit getyourrefund.org, and you can file online. So getyourrefund.org, and you can file online. It opened on January 31st. Income limit to do it online is $66,000 to do just the straight online. And you can also file your own taxes at myfreetaxes.com. There's no income limit on that. So there's a free option there as well. These, again, I know that we're in a capitalist society. It's fine. Everybody makes money. Some of these places are a little predatory, though. I'm going to tell you, particularly, they're trying to get a chunk of your refund to get it done quickly. And it may seem like a good deal, but you are literally wasting your money, because there's options out here that are completely free, and they're going to make sure they get the most you can, and that it's not going to cost you anything. You're going to get every bit of that refund back. Particularly, we all know how expensive everything is right now. So if you're making in this income range, and you can get a $5,000-$6,000 income, it's a huge portion of your salary or your pay for the year that you're able to get back. You can use for home improvements, your car, whatever you need to do. This is important. So please take advantage of this.
There you go.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's just that time of year, and it reminds me that I need to at least call mine and say, because if you do an extension like I do, you still have to file it. I mean, you still have to put everything in. It just gives you a little more time to get all the nuts and bolts together. But
I was so good last year, and I'm terrible this year. I don't know what's happened. I just don't want to do it.
Yeah,
I don't, and I think mine is simple this year. Like we
mine
had
is
some,
too.
we had some stuff last year.
Yeah.
We had some stuff, so I had to take it last year. And we had to kind of get somebody, and they were great. It was a local accounting firm here, Brown and Brown. I'm in Rotary. Irvin and his crew do a magnificent job over there, and ours is a little complicated. It's above my knowledge scope. I want to make sure I get done right. He's great. This year it's more to simple. And I just put it off. I didn't want to do it.
Procrastination.
That's right. Every time I get sit down, I was like, I'm going to do this. Like take a couple hours. I just don't want to do it. So
I know. But it's
April 14th, I'll knock it out.
Yeah, it's funny. And I think a lot of us just have spring fever right now
because we had
2 spells of snow, which is a lot for us, And I think we're all just like, come on, spring. We're just ready for it. We're just, of course, we got our long. We get to it's staying light out now.
That's nice.
And so we're wanting to do things outside, and we just got things to do than sit down and work with papers.
Yeah, I've lit my grill a couple times this week. I was like, I don't want to do taxes. I'd rather sit outside on my back porch.
That's
so
funny.
Yeah.
It's just nice. It's a beautiful time of year. And so, what else have you got going on?
We are kind of in a planning mode right now. But we have our annual meetings coming up this month, and we're doing 3 of those because of our footprint, just to try to make sure. And so at our annual meetings is a time to celebrate everyone that's helped, partnered, volunteered, donated, whatever. It's our chance to recognize them. So we're doing 3 this year. We'll have 2 in March. One will be in Williamson, one will be in Davidson, to try to cover that large swath. And then in May, we'll have one up in Montgomery County that will cover more of this area. And it's just our opportunity to thank everyone and get everybody together and kind of celebrate everything that we've done. We try to send out mass invitations. If I've missed anybody you would like to attend, let me know. We got a big space at the National ones at Nissan this year. So Nissan Stadium, we have a huge room there and are able to accommodate a lot. And so we'd love to celebrate you. If you've done anything with us this year, we would love to bring you over and celebrate you and feed you breakfast and just celebrate with you. It's not a fundraiser; it's a thank you. So we're just thankful for that. And then we, believe it or not, and I know this sounds crazy, but just to give you an idea of how these things are prepared, we are preparing for our Stuff the Bus. Right now we have to, because it takes a lot to get that together for 9 counties. We're still in school. I know everybody's like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
But we've got dates set and we've got a plan. And so we had our first meeting on it yesterday. And so it's funny. It's like, we haven't hit spring break here yet.
Yeah.
But yet, that's the runway you have to get all this stuff in order. Yeah. So it takes a few months to put it together. But I think we're going to have some really cool stuff for this area too, hopefully, and be able to do a lot of good things for the kids here. And it's always one that's near and dear to my heart because, I love when we do have a thing for first day of school as well, where we get out and welcome some of the kids. I love seeing them walk in, particularly the ones that we've given the backpacks to, because you can see them and they're happy and they got maybe have their new shoes on and they got the backpacks, and it's a good deal. So prepping for that. So we'll have more info, and I know nobody wants to hear that right now, but we are working on it because that's what we have to do. So that's a few of the things we got going on, and spring is it's kind of just getting ready for what's to come, and also kind of looking back a little bit at the end of last year and just thanking everybody for what they did. And then I have to do a lot of processing accounting stuff right now, and it is my least favorite thing in the world to do. I'm looking at way too many spreadsheets at the moment, and so that's kind of the mundane part of it, but it's also to make sure we're getting all our money in, so you have to do that too.
It's so funny. I think you and I, the reason why we have so much fun talking is because we're kind of the same, because we have a lot of this, except for the sports thing. You love sports, and I don't know anything about it, but we have it seems like we have kind of the same attention span, I think.
So, and it's and maybe our personalities, like I'm not just I'm not a pouring over numbers person. That's just not. I'd much rather be doing anything else.
Yeah.
Or talking to folks. Great.
That's it.
We want to talk about something. I would love to.
Let's go.
Yeah, let's go. But pouring over these just numbers, not my thing. I know.
But I'm good at it, and that's
I'm not.
See, now I'm good at numbers, but it's kind of like, but I don't want to do it. But anyway, we're talking with Brian Pulley, and he is with the United Way. We've got an amazing United Way organization here in Robertson County. I have just enjoyed thoroughly my relationship with our United Way and all the things we do, because if you're wanting to do something with a nonprofit, they can plug you in. They
Absolutely.
have all the information. We like to compare. When we talk about the chamber, they're the bridge builder to the business. The United Way is the bridge builder to our nonprofits in the community. Cannot say enough about the work that they do, and just loving on the community. So if you've got kiddos that need volunteer hours,
Call us. Yes. I'll give you my number, 615-780-2401, 615-780-2401. Catherine Stewart will be the one to kind of plug you in, but we'll have opportunities coming up, particularly now with the weather getting warmer. Some of our partner agencies have some annual things they do. Also, speaking of, this is aside from United Way, but it was something that came up yesterday, and I just want to make sure to spread the word on this opportunity. I'm in Rotary, and there's a camp they have every summer down at Austin Peay. It's called RILA. It's like a leadership camp. We are looking to sponsor some kids from Robertson County to go to this. We're looking for rising 10th graders or rising 11th graders to go to this. It's a wonderful camp. They've been doing it forever. When I say sponsor, we're paying for it. So we're looking for people that are interested in a leadership aspect of it, and maybe just taking, if, he used an example too, if you've got kids that are maybe introverts, they're really intelligent, but they're introverts, and kind of bringing them out of their shell, great place to do it there. Kids that are looking to be world conquerors and leaders, that's a great camp for that. Super, super cool camp. And we're looking to sponsor some kids out of no strings attached. We just want to send some good kids from Robertson County to have this opportunity. We used to do it pretty regularly, and we kind of, for whatever reason, have not been sending kids from there. So we had the guy that is over it come speak at our meeting yesterday, and so we're going to be looking for some kids. So if you know of anyone, send them my way, and we'd be glad to try to see if they're a fit and if it's going to work out. But the camp is in the middle of June, I think, in Clarksville. It's a 4 or 5 day camp, and then we have till April 15th to get in the application. So we got about a month.
So
to
is
get in
it
there.
one where they spend the night?
They spend the night.
Okay, so it wouldn't be like you have to take them every day.
No, you spend the night.
It's rising 10th and rising 11th
graders
so
is what they're looking for.
Your freshmen and your sophomores this year.
This year.
And
if you know anybody at your school, let me know.
I'm just like, now my head's spinning going through all the kids in my class, and I'm going to talk to the counselors about it today. But now, do you have any information that we can,
I do.
Like, where can I
can post on your Facebook. There's a link, and then there's a video too. That what they showed us yesterday that kind of goes through each day of what the camp looks like, and it has some details. I'm 90% sure it's a stayover because they were there multiple days. I don't think they were bringing them there every day because they go late at night. So I don't think the parents. Now I'm 100% sure because he was talking about they have some long days. So it's a pretty intense.
Do they stay in a dorm up there?
Yeah, they stay in a dorm.
Is it Austin Peay?
Austin Peay.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Austin Peay works with them. It's it's 45 minutes from here.
Cool.
They've been doing it for years too. This is a set up, established thing. They have a program. Just a really cool opportunity for a kid here in Robertson County, and it's a shame that we haven't been actively sending kids down there because I just think we have a scholarship program at Rotary too that we do. We give scholarships here in Robertson County.
Cool.
I would like to tie it to that.
Do you have a number of how many you want?
We're looking for a minimum of 3. We would like to send at least 3. If we could send like 5, that would be even better. But again, he extended our application deadline because he just came to our club to speak yesterday to April 15th to get everything in. So you got about a month here, but I can post the link and then it's a video, about a 4 or 5 minute video in your thing that'll give you an idea what it looks like. So
I think I can find all of them.
Hey man, if you got some people that are,
and I can mention it to my husband too at Springfield because
love to.
I can think just off the top of my head of a couple of kids I think would be great with it, but
some of the stuff they were doing is really cool. It's going to be things that you would probably do in team building situations in corporate life too. If you're getting into like the working world, like you're already like having to figure out. It's a lot of teamwork, team building stuff, working together to figure out problems. A lot of that kind of stuff. Using your head a lot, and but also bringing them out of their shell and really like he was saying, be careful because once they will come back differently. You know what I mean? In a good way.
That's cool.
And so he's like, if you got one that's already kind of an extrovert and is out there, be very careful because they may come back ready to slay some dragons here. So so just
That's cool.
It's a really cool. It's a really cool program. I was impressed
Okay.
with it, and I was already thinking about my kids when they get older. But
Yeah.
for right now, we're looking to send some kids. So I'm just trying to get the word out. I sent some emails to some
really
principals
cool.
here in the area, but I would love to. If you know anybody, let us know.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
And I'll float it at school as well. Brian Pulley, United Way. If you have any questions about nonprofits, he's the guy to reach out to. I'll give that number one more time.
615-780-2401, 615-780-2401, or just come see us. We're at the corner of 5th and Main in Springfield at the basement of the UT Extension office. Our office is a mess right now because they're doing construction on it.
Yeah.
I'm not there as much because I'm having trouble breathing in the building, but as soon as we get that done, we're there more often.
Gotcha.
Yep.
And thank y'all for joining us. Don't miss tomorrow because, again, it's going to be Faith Friday. So we got Jack Martin coming in from the Green Ridge Church of Christ. He's going to be in here. We try to get him in here every second Friday, but we've been just kind of off schedule. So he's coming in just for a half hour tomorrow because he's going to, give us a wonderful Irish blessing with St. Patrick's Day coming up on Monday since I'm not going to be here. But you're going to get to meet some of my Uper family. David and Sue are in town. And so David has said, I don't know about Sue, but David's coming in and you won't be able to understand him because he's got such an accent. I'll translate for you, but it'll be fun. And I'm going to tell a couple of fun stories about him anyway. It'll be fun. I hope you'll join us tomorrow for Faith Friday here at 1100 WSGI. God bless. Have a wonderful day. Thanks, Brian.
Thank you.
Hello, Mama. Sorry it took so long to call you back. This job I had don't cut me any slack. Oh, Mama, tonight you're laying heavy on my mind. It just hit me. I broke right down and I cried. I don't know that I've ever thanked you